Week 2 of the preseason in the National Football League about to get underway inside Reliance Stadium in Houston, Texas. On the short list of Super Bowl favorites this year, the Houston Texans, because they've got one of the very best defenses in all of the league. The questions surround this man, C.J. Stroud. When last we saw him in the snow and cold in New England, he looked to be shaken, his confidence not what it had been at times. That will be a topic of conversation in this next hour and all season long, frankly. It's really not a question of who, but when. We know Fernando Mendoza will be QB1 for the Raiders. But when? We're going to see him a good bit tonight as the Raiders and the Texans play Week 2 of the preseason as a special edition of NFL Countdown brought to you by U.S. Bank. And we are inside an hour before we hand it off to Joe and Troy, Lisa and Laura. And we get to say hello for the very first time here in New York. Jason Kelce is in Houston. He will be joining us in just a bit. There's Marcus Spears waving hello. Senior NFL insider Adam Schefter and myself, Scott Van Pelt. On behalf of all of us, we say hello and welcome. Jason McCourty is here for the very first time. Welcome. We like to have a bit of fun. We like to talk a bit of ball. How do you feel like you're going to fit in with all that?
I feel great. This is the preseason. Guys are vying to make the team. Late round draft pick, but I made the team. I'm here. I'm just here to contribute. Whatever you need me to do, I'm here. I got you.
I like that. It's all about the team, the team. And as I said, our team is here, but not yet complete because we have another member of our team we look forward to welcoming to the set when we get to Kansas City, and that is Pat McAfee. Pat McAfee will be with us from Arrowhead all the way to SoFi. And there is Jason Kelce, who is now with us from Houston. So we look forward to seeing Pat Week 1 in KC. Jason, it's great to see you in Houston. And we just talked about the Raiders and the quarterback, and it's a matter of time, right? We know that the number 1 draft pick will eventually be the starter, but he's got Kirk Cousins there to learn from. Regardless of when Mendoza becomes a starter, how does he benefit from the presence of Cousins long term?
Yeah, I like the way that they're doing this, right? They go out and get a veteran quarterback known for being prepared and on top of it mentally, and he's going to be able to teach this young guy, Mendoza, how to prepare, right? So much of what a rookie learns isn't just from the coaches, it's what you learn from the veterans in place. We had, when we drafted Carson Wentz, we brought in Chase Daniel. And part of the reason they did that, I firmly believe, is because he was with Drew Brees. And I remember Chase Daniels and Carson Wentz preparing like they were Drew Brees with the like when they're coming into the building, what they're doing, studying first throughout the week, what they're doing on Wednesday, what they're doing on Thursday, how they're going about it. And Mendoza's going to be able to learn from a guy who's been in multiple different systems, been around a lot of success in this league, seen how it's done right, seen how it's done wrong. It's a really awesome pairing for a young kid, number 1 overall, to learn from.
And there's a lot to get better at, frankly, with this Raider team. They were a mess last season. The O-line in front of whoever's playing quarterback has to be better given how much they struggled there last year. A new coach in town. That's Clint Kubiak. Some pressure certainly on his shoulders. Great play caller, comes from Seattle, knows how to do it. There are a lot of new coaches in the league. That'll be a topic as we continue, as this game will be, and certainly the quarterbacks as well as Troy Aikman will join us, the Hall of Famer, in a bit. As we turn our attention a little further west tonight, it's 10 Eastern, 7 p.m. Los Angeles time. Another game going tonight. It's the Niners and the Chargers in SoFi. We expect to see some of the ones going tonight. That's always a question. How many reps do they get? And there are injuries aplenty on both sides. And Adam Schefter, let's start with what you can tell us about the injuries on San Francisco, what matters and what does not.
Well, there's some injuries here with Christian McCaffrey. He's got general soreness, tightness. That's really about being a veteran as much as it is anything. And
I was going to say, isn't that code for I just don't want to try, I want to run around?
He'll be ready for the start of the regular season. They've got Nick Bosa, of course. He's got tendonitis in his knee. They've got Mikael Williams, slow to come back from his knee. Then there are some other questions out there. George Kittle was in Los Angeles yesterday meeting with the surgeon that performed the surgery on his torn Achilles, Dr. Neil Elatrush. My understanding is it was a good visit, and it sounds like he's got a legitimate chance to play in the opener. That's encouraging for George Kittle. And, of course, Brandon Ayuk is still out there on the reserve left team list. Still has not applied for reinstatement, has said goodbye to the Niners. Niners have said goodbye to him, but he's still on their list. And until he applies for reinstatement, there's still a question about where he could wind up. And with wide receiver questions around the league in Houston, Texans being down a receiver this week with Jaden Higgins tearing his ACL, and the Saints missing their rookie wide receiver Jordan Tyson, you wonder if maybe there could be a market. But nobody has heard much of anything about Brandon Ayuk.
Well, we've heard plenty, though, in the social media space. And I think, Swag, that leads to questions about not so much football, but just the general well-being of this guy, doesn't it?
I'm concerned about his well-being. Like, listen, I don't want to draw or any conclusions about it, but the things that we've seen in his response to the football portion has been alarming. To me personally, I'm not going to speak overall for anybody in media, but what I've seen and how he's responded to these things have been alarming to me. And then, too, just being a former player in the NFL, it always spurs your mind when you think somebody's going through something in the game. Yeah. And that's what it looks like to me. So if anything's comes anybody way, it need to come to me. But Brandon Ayuk needs to get life figured out, in my opinion, before he even thinks about getting reinstated in the NFL.
The Niners are trying to figure out the health of the guys who are there. Yep. And, J-Mac, if you look at this group, and they live on a rugged side of the block with Seattle and the Rams, 2 Super Bowl heavyweight favorites as well, how do you look at the Niners in terms of the lens that you see them being competitors in their division as a first thought?
It's complicated because you look at the list of just Shefty, what he just said about the guys that they have that are banged up, that are coming off injury, that have gotten hurt in camp, and you start to doubt their ability to just hold up in that division. But then you look at what Shanahan has done. A year ago, they won 12 games. Brock Purdy, their starting quarterback, only played in 9 of them. Nick Bosa out for the year. Fred Warner out for the year. These are cornerstone pieces of their franchise. As long as Kyle Shanahan is out there, they figure out a way. Brock Purdy has been in training camp this entire time. He's performing. Stribling, the rookie, he stepped up in their first preseason game. So there's a lot of belief in this team. Scott, they had 3 teams from their division go to the playoffs. There's no reason to think that that can't happen again this season.
And we expect to see Purdy tonight again. We expect to see some ones-on-ones there again. Just a question of how long. We'll be bringing you updates of that. They're taking on the Chargers. Speaking of which, we're going to get to Jason on the Chargers in just a minute. But, Adam, the Chargers have injuries of their own, particularly up front, and that was a big issue for them last year across the offensive line.
It'll be really interesting to hear what Jason has to say about this because they went out and signed Tyler Biadasz, their free agent center, to a 3-year, $30 million contract. He was supposed to be anchoring the center spot, and he goes out this week in a joint practice with the 49ers. One of the 49ers defensive linemen falls on his left knee. There's damage to his ACL. There's other damage in the knee. He's getting further medical opinions, but he's going to be out indefinitely with this injury. There's hope that maybe he could come back later this season. We'll see if he can. And in the interim, the Chargers will have to make do without this center that they loved, that they paid $30 million to, who was going to anchor the front and center part of their offensive line. And Rashawn Slater also hasn't practiced. Now, he is expected to get back to practice this week. He missed last year with the patella tendon injury. That's been an issue in the early part of camp, left early on. But he is going to get back to practice this week, at least for them.
And we're going to get back to Houston. And I'm interested, Jason, in your thoughts. First, just on the Chargers and the concerns up front, because that was such a gigantic issue last year. How much of a problem is it not to get reps with the guys you're going to be going with this time of the year with an eye on week 1?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, they signed Biadasz in the offseason for a reason. He's a proven veteran, knows what he's doing, can make all the calls, and he's athletic. What Mike McDaniel wants to institute is going to be a creative offense, right? That's one of the reasons I'm excited about the Chargers offense is because of what he did in Miami, what he did in San Francisco. The scheme is awesome, right? If you go back and you watch the tape last year in Miami, it wasn't what they were doing, man. They were doing some creative, innovative things. And they got pieces. They got Amari in Hampton, right? They got Lad McConkey. I love that name every time I say it. They got all sorts of pieces to work with, right? So, and they got fullbacks. I can't forget about the fullbacks. Any team that has a fullback, I'm all in on. So I'm excited to see this scheme. But Tyler Biadasz was a big piece that they brought in to be able to do a lot of these things. And now all of a sudden Rashawn Slater's still a little banged up. Before Joe Alt and Rashawn Slater went down last year, this team was competitive. They were right in contention with the AFC West all the way up to the end of it. So, I mean, it's not great. I think that you wish that they were healthy up front. But I'm also still excited to see what this Chargers offense looks like with Herbert, with all these pieces, and with Mike McDaniel. I think it's going to be a competitive AFC West again, but it's going to be a fun one to watch.
There is a long, long list, Jason, of people that are really, really intrigued by what the McDaniel-Harbaugh combination might look like and how this offense for the Chargers might ascend this year again. NFL Network tonight, it's the Niners and the Chargers. Now, in that Chargers vein, AFC West, you happen to be in camp yesterday with the Kansas City Chiefs. And everybody's going to assume, well, what do you got for me on Mahomes? But there was somebody else that caught your eye out there. Who is that?
Kenneth Walker. I mean, he caught my eye in the playoffs. Dang sure caught my eye in the playoffs.
Yeah,
but you
MVP.
see him in person, man, he is thick. He moves well. I mean, he is an impressive back, right? And then also the guys that caught my eye was Eric Bieniemy, right? You bring in a guy that was there. You had a lot of success with him. This tells me that they're going to really stick to the run game. This is a team that's been very pass-centered. They've relied on Pat Mahomes to really get it done for them offensively. This is a piece that they've missed. He's not just a running back. He is explosive. He is a dynamic piece. And you have a guy like Eric Bieniemy who played in the league, knows the running back position, knows what he's doing to coordinate all this. I think that that's a match that this team has missed. I'm excited to see what it looks like this year. Hopefully 15 is all right, too. Let's not forget about 15. We're not talking about him, but he is important. So I'm just excited to watch this kid play, man. He was great in Seattle. And I think he's going to bring a lot to this Chiefs team.
Yeah, it was one of those wild deals where I think everybody could see the writing on the wall. Maybe this is his swan song and he wins the MVP. They won a chip, and now he has a chance to bring another one to Kansas City. Sit tight. One last quick one. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, sure. Well, I was just going to say, and being at camp, hearing the way everybody talks about him, like that's something you don't see on TV. You don't see what his teammates say about him, how his practice habits are, what he brings to the room. That was something that was very evident in talking to everybody. They love this kid, and not just because he's a great player, because he's an awesome teammate and he works hard.
So, Adam, it's not official yet that Mahomes is going to start, but I mean, I think we can connect the dots at week 1 when Denver comes to town and we'll be there. Like, he's a starter, right?
He's done everything in training camp. He's cleared every obstacle. He hasn't missed any time. What would suddenly prevent him from playing on opening night against the Broncos, short of some setback that is unforeseen right now? He is tracking to play opening night in what would be a very impressive recovery. He tore his ACL, his LCL, middle of December last year against the Chargers, I believe it was, in Kansas City. He's back already. He's looked strong during camp. He'll be out there week 1.
All right, and we will be there, as I said at the top. Pat McAfee will be there, and Jason Kelsey will be there. Jason, in tonight in Houston. Nice to be with you from afar. Enjoy the last little bits of summer, my man, and we will see you on the bus in Kansas City. Ready to go, all right?
You should have went with 3 buttons.
I cannot wait to be back with you guys.
All right, all right. Enjoy
Dang it, I knew it. I was talking to Steph.
Taco meat, Steph. That taco meat, baby.
See? It's fine. It's preseason for everybody. It's preseason
Love
for
you guys.
everybody. All right, Big Max Crosby getting ready for his 8th season in the silver and black. As we know, very nearly, he was going to be wearing a different shade of black and purple as a Raven in Baltimore. The fallout from that trade that ended up not to be. And what do we expect next from him as a special edition of Countdown continues?
NFL Countdown Special Edition is presented by U.S. Bank, official bank sponsor of the NFL. And in part by DirecTV. Stream DirecTV satellite free.
Feeling foggy? You might be dehydrated. Gatorlight, with a specialized blend of 5 electrolytes, is engineered to unlock rapid fluid transport into the body. Hydrates faster than water. Is it in you?
Jack Daniel starts here. From cave spring water to sugar maple charcoal to smooth Tennessee whiskey. Made by those who pour everything into their craft. That's what makes Jack, Jack.
At University of Phoenix, learn skills employers value and apply them right away. Take one course at a time with tuition that won't change throughout your program, so you can balance it all. Get started at phoenix.edu.
When you love your dog like crazy, you make sure their food is delicious, just like yours. Caesar, love like crazy.
Yet another toothpaste that does not whiten.
Girl, this one works. Basic toothpaste stops at the top. Crest goes deeper to dissolve the bonds that hold stains to teeth for whiter teeth in one day. Crest.
Runners will do anything to cut through the wind. Why? When you can go fast the easy way. Hands-free Skechers Slip-ins Aeroburst. High-performance running shoes designed to cut through the wind with unbelievable speed. Plus, they're lightweight and feature Goodyear rubber. Go fast in Skechers Slip-ins Aeroburst.
Let's go for a walk.
Dad, can we go for the walk?
Hey, Dad. We couldn't sleep.
Capture moments in color with paint made to last. Only at Sherwin-Williams.
We're doing our best to make sure every Whopper is your best Whopper. But we know mistakes happen, and we're here to make it right. If your Whopper isn't made your way, we'll remake your Whopper on the spot, and your next one's free. That's the Whopper guarantee. Because there's a new king, and it's you.
People do anything to make their beer cold. They fill trucks, find shade, even steal power. That's why the Coors Light Mountains turn blue. Because people don't just like beer. People like cold beer.
Moderate to severe eczema with that unbearable itch. When it's uncontrolled despite topical treatment, relieve itch fast with clearer skin that lasts. Nemluvio blocks the signaling from IL-31, a switch that triggers key symptoms of eczema. Do not take if allergic to Nemluvio. Serious reactions may occur, some severe. Tell your doctor about any medicines you take if you experience hives or plan to receive a live vaccine. The most common side effects are headache, joint pain, hives, and muscle aches. Ask about Nemluvio today.
The DQ Blizzard Double Flip Deal is here. Buy one Blizzard treat and get a second for just 99 cents.
99 cents? That's bananas.
1, 2, 3, we got a DQ flavor, Savannah Bud. The Blizzard Double Flip Deal. Limited time. Get it in the DQ app.
When Saturday rolls around, I don't want to jump through hoops to watch college football. Good thing DirecTV makes it easy to keep up with my favorite college teams. No hopping between apps or channels.
Stream college football without the hurdles on DirecTV.
The stars of the summer are all here.
Thomas and Flower.
What a player!
Who's brilliant in there? He can't stop scoring.
From the home of the world champions, La Liga, exclusively on ABC and streaming on the ESPN app.
Welcome back to NFL Countdown, Special Edition, presented by U.S. Bank.
It's the Raiders and the Texans. We're going to see C.J. Stroud tonight, but how long will we see C.J. Stroud? A couple of team reports now, beginning with Lisa Salters with an eye on the Texans.
Scott, C.J. Stroud may not be on the field very long tonight as DeMeco Ryans continues to figure out how he wants to manage the preseason reps for his starters. But Stroud has already said that he cannot wait to be back out on the field and to get this new season started. Stroud says this is the best he's seen the Texans offense look since 2023 when he was the Offensive Rookie of the Year with more than 4,100 passing yards. Stroud says he put in a lot of work this offseason on footwork, throwing on the run, conditioning, and he said he even added a few pounds of muscle in the weight room. But he also said that he worked on the mental aspect of his game, on how to be mentally tougher, how to bounce back when things go wrong and move on to the next play. The Texans have already been dealt a significant blow on offense, with the team announcing just yesterday that promising second-year wide receiver Jaden Higgins tore his ACL in a joint practice with the Raiders 2 days ago and will be out for the entire season. With Tank Dell still working his way back from his injury, Higgins had been a projected Week 1 starter for Houston alongside Nico Collins. Now for more on the Raiders tonight, here's Laura Rutledge.
Yeah, Lisa, we're going to see a lot of #1 overall pick Fernando Mendoza on the Raiders side tonight. They're expecting to see him in the entire first half and then maybe even after that. But Clint Kubiak, the head coach, told us it will all depend on the health of the O-line. They're going to keep track of O-line injuries, make sure Mendoza is as protected as possible, as you might expect. But something else to really keep an eye on tonight is how much he spends under center, how much time he does that. He had 10 snaps under center last game, and that was more than he had had in his entire college career. It's definitely something they're working on in this Kubiak offense. And I can tell you, I've been watching him out here in warm-ups, and they've been repping it a decent amount. You can tell there's a major emphasis on him disguising what he's doing with the football. So we'll look to see how he applies that in this opportunity tonight. He did tell us when it comes to the under center play, it's not rocket science. He also said it's not like we're trying to boil the ocean. Those are exact quotes, by the way. He feels like he's picking it up pretty well. Kubiak said the same thing. And Scott, Kubiak said with Mendoza, once you tell him to fix something, he fixes it immediately. Doesn't make the same mistake twice.
Laura, the Raiders have plenty to fix. It is a long list of things that need to be better. I think Raider fans would begin with just stability of any kind. It's been a revolving door. Head coaches, starting quarterbacks, they keep flipping new ones 4 years in a row. Whether Mendoza or Cousins is QB1, they're going to have a different starting quarterback for week 1 for the 5th consecutive year, which dates back to Derek Carr's final season with the squad in 22. And they'll be the only team to enter the season with a new head coach for the 4th straight year, but certainly not the only team.
Hey, let's go! Hurry up! Hurry! Have a sense of urgency!
All right, you know the drill. 40 seconds on the clock. What do you want to talk about? I decided what I wanted to talk about is just that. The trend in the National Football League at the moment of new coaches. 10 new head coaches this year. It's basically a third of the league. It ties for the most ever, and it's the second time in the last 5 years that we have seen 10 new head coaches. You don't get nearly as much runway these days. You have coaches like McCarthy and Harbaugh who have won Super Bowls, yes, but you have a bunch of coordinators. We talked about this, J Mac, at lunch. You change the letter on the headset from OC to HC. You only change one letter, but everything else changes. You're now in charge of the whole outfit. You got to command the room. You're in charge of all these men, not just one side of it. As every team that goes the coordinator route looks for the next Mike McDonald. Of course, that had a lot to do with the situation in Seattle, and many of these new coaches are in pretty lousy situations, or they wouldn't be there in the first place. That's 5 yards on me. Over. I went
5 yards.
You're up.
I'm so excited. This is my first time doing it. I got to prove to these guys I know what I'm doing. All right, here we go. I want to talk about, you said the head coach, but what about the stars, the quarterbacks who have new people in their ears, stars with new guys in charge? That's the offensive coordinators. You look around the league, it's not just the teams that are bad. It's the teams that we expect to contend. Lamar Jackson, now with a new offensive coordinator, and Declan Doyle. I can go down the list. Jalen Hurts, Jaden Daniels, Bo Nix, Justin Herbert, Jared Goff. All of these guys have brand new offensive coordinators who is now trying to lead them on a charge, take them to places some of them have never been able to achieve. Let's see if these guys can do it. Some have very little experience, but the time is now.
Oh, my gosh. He hit the post.
My dog.
Hit the post swag.
He just killed
me. I'm ready. I'm prepared.
All right. Every summer, there's one storyline that hangs over the National Football League. And this summer, that storyline just happens to be whether Aaron Donald will be coming out of retirement after 2 years to
break the news.
The Los Angeles Rams. Now, the Los Angeles Rams are the franchise that once featured the fearsome foursome. So the franchise that had the fearsome foursome now could have the terrible twosome. And it certainly seems like it's moving along in that direction. Aaron Donald keeps working out for the Rams, keeps doing drills to get in shape. The regular season opener against the Niners in Australia is coming up quick, and we could get a decision soon from Donald, and it certainly feels like he's going to be joining Myles Garrett in L.A.
Yes,
I see you, Chef.
Yeah. This is one of the storylines this year that I don't think has been talked about enough, and we've got accustomed to the names we know at quarterback, the Josh Allens, the Patrick Mahomes, the guys, the Matthew Stafford playing at a high level. Somebody is about to introduce themselves as a new superstar, and that's Caleb Williams with the Chicago Bears. We've talked about this franchise. They've been ad nauseum for a while. They found their guy. He was 27 touchdowns, 7 picks last year, and Ben Johnson said he left a lot of food on the table. We saw the late game heroics, winning games down the stretch. In order to be a superstar in this league,
Now I have Sky Rizzy.
I've got places to go and I'm feeling free. Controlling my crowns means everything to me. Control is everything to me.
And now I'm back in the picture. Sky Rizzy helps people feel significant symptom relief as early as 4 weeks and can help with remission at 12 weeks, 1 year, and at 4 years. Plus, Sky Rizzy is proven to help visibly repair damage of the intestinal lining.
Don't use if allergic. Serious allergic reactions, increased infections, or lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, get checked for infections and TB. Tell your doctor about any flu-like symptoms or vaccines. Liver problems leading to hospitalization may occur when treated for Crohn's.
Sky Rizzy is only 6 doses a year after 3 starter doses and is proven to help deliver relief, repair, and remission.
Control is everything to me.
Ask your doctor about Sky Rizzy, the #1 prescribed biologic in Crohn's disease.
The DQ Blizzard Double Flip deal is here. Buy 1 Blizzard treat and get a second for just 99 cents.
99 cents? That's bananas.
1, 2, 3, we got that DQ flavor, Savannah Bud.
The Blizzard Double Flip deal. Limited time. Get it in the DQ app.
You're done mopping, and you might think your floors are clean.
But not from where we're standing.
Try the new Swiffer Power Mop for a deeper clean you can see and feel.
Wow, you really stepped up your clean.
New micro scrubbers clean 5 times deeper than spin mops, even in grout lines. Keeping more dirt and grime off your socks and hard to reach places, so stuff stays trapped here.
And not down here.
Ooh, I feel this clean in my soul.
Try the new Swiffer Power Mop for a white sock clean.
Honey, Mortgage Money 6 says we should keep renting.
Mortgage Money 6?
Reba says more realtor agents recommend Realtor.com. They train.
Left. Well, it's your yard now. Because it's not just the home we protect, it's all the memories you make there. Nice work, you two. Come on, buddy. If it's important to you, it's important to us. You're in good hands with Allstate. Good boy.
Tired? You might be dehydrated. Gatorade, with a clinically proven electrolyte blend, is engineered to improve hydration balance. Hydrates better than water. Is it in you?
Now that ESPN and NFL fantasy have aligned, it's fantasy bonding time.
In the league, but a big decision looms as the Texans have got to decide what to do contract-wise and put a disappointing end to last year in the rear view.
Just proud of the team that we've had this year, proud of the things we were able to accomplish. Right, it didn't end the way we wanted to end.
Stroud throws it, and it's an interception. Stroud picked again. Boy, there is nothing that's gone right for C.J. Stroud.
Just got to figure out a way to win that divisional round.
We set the bar high last year, so we know that this year we got to go out there and show it again.
I think we've taken a huge step from where we were last year to where we are now.
Strength, physicality, and precision. And that's what's going to get us to the big show.
Wasn't the ending they were looking for in Foxborough, but a ton of success for Houston under Stroud, D'Amico, and that absolutely ferocious defense. Next step on the to-do list would be an AFC championship, which obviously they'd have to do if they hope to make the Super Bowl. They've never been to a championship game since they've been in the league. We get to Reliance Stadium, head to the booth. The Hall of Famer Troy Aikman joins me now, getting set to make the call alongside Joe Buck. Joe Buck, tell him we say hi, by the way. Troy, you've had a chance over these last few years to call playoff games, a bunch of them, including 2 last year. And by the end of that last one in the snow in Foxborough, he looked shaken. He looked to have lost confidence. I don't know that to be the case, but that's what it appeared to be. What does growth look like to you for 7 this year?
Well, obviously, Scott, we know that he can do the job. I mean, he has proven that. He's had his moments. He's still trying to live up to the expectations that he established for himself his rookie year. I can't imagine, quite honestly, what this offseason has been like for him, knowing that they had the defense they had. In the building, they felt that that was a Super Bowl contending team, and they certainly were. And then CJ, he struggled in the wild card game. And then, of course, as you mentioned, he had a really tough game against New England. So having to live with that for the last 6 months has been a real challenge. I think the key for him this year, it's not about physical. He's in the 2nd year of his offense. You know, that will help him. But I would imagine that he has put a lot of pressure on himself. And how does he manage that day to day, week to week? Because for any quarterback in the NFL, the emotions ebb and flow. And he can't let the pressure that he might be feeling because of the way last season ended affect how he leads this football team. And that's going to be hard. And in visiting with him, he did talk about that he did work on kind of the mental aspect. And I think he comes into this season maybe a little better mentally as far as how he's going to deal with the emotional roller coaster that an NFL season provides.
Fernando Mendoza, we're going to get, appears an extended look at him tonight, and he's going to learn all of the ebbs and flows that come with being a professional quarterback. You've lived his life as a top pick. What are the tells for you that a player like Mendoza is beginning to grasp things that show promise for the future?
You know, I don't want to get too far ahead of myself, but he has shown me already in such a short time that this young man is capable of being a really great player in this league. I think the big thing for any rookie is just understanding that it's a long year. And even though the college season last year, going through the playoffs, playing in the national championship, it's different when every week, you know, you don't have a light opponent and any team can beat you on any given weekend. Now, going back to him, I think that the fact that he's likely not going to start the season, he has a chance to kind of ease into it. I think that's going to help him. But just, again, kind of like with CJ, just as a young player, understanding that it's not going to all go that smooth. And he's got to learn a new playbook. He's got to get to know his teammates better than what he already has. The competition that he's playing against, the windows that he's throwing the football into, it's a learning situation for him each and every day. He's talked about that. It'll continue. But I'm excited about watching him tonight because I've been really impressed with talking with him and then what he was able to put on the field last week.
Troy, we look forward to watching that and look forward to being with you from Kansas City all the way to L.A. and the Super Bowl in February. Thanks for your time. See you soon.
You bet.
All right. Let's get this conversation back to Houston and Stroud, Adam, and the business of this. It's 5th-year extension. We've seen it as a talking point with a number of different quarterbacks. Where's Houston right now?
Not close at this particular time, but here's the decision that each side has to make. We are looking at a season where after this year, for the first time, Caleb Williams, who you just talked about, Big Swagoo, Jaden Daniels, Drake May, Bo Nix, all will become contract eligible. And when they become contract eligible, we would think that at least a portion, if not all of those quarterbacks, would be signed to long-term lucrative deals that will raise the price on quarterbacks. So C.J. Stroud, if they don't get him signed now, the price on him could go up a lot. Or if he struggles, then what do the Texans do? Then they're back to square one. But the fact of the matter is the two sides have been talking. We'll see if they can get something done by the start of the season. Again, not close today. but we'll see if they can figure it out.
Swag, last time we were together, we're sitting out there at halftime, and there were calls at halftime for maybe you don't play the guy in the second half. It was that bad because you weren't even looking at the football piece. You were looking at the man. What did you see?
Yeah, I made the call. He should have been sat. Davis Mills had played good for them, but I saw a guy that was like wrecked mentally. He wasn't confident. We saw on one of those highlights the reaction of putting his hand on his helmet, like what is going on, and sometimes. Like we talked about this earlier, J-Mac, you as a teammate, you can see when a teammate is sinking. Like it's like nothing is working.
Somebody come save me.
Yeah, and he's not responding. So it was just alarming to me, that part. There has never been any part of me that doesn't think C.J. Stroud can play at a high level. I just saw him break down from a mental confidence standpoint in that playoff game, and it alarmed me enough to say you probably should go with the backup, because at that time, in that moment, I was thinking about the other 52 guys on that roster, especially the 11 that were playing historical defense. That was my issue. I hope C.J. Stroud bounces back. I hope he becomes the quarterback that everybody thinks he can be, but more importantly, he thinks he can be.
And I think to your point, we know he can do it because we've seen it. We saw his rookie year, and when you fast forward from that moment in Foxborough to where they are now, you look at the coaching staff. Troy said it, his second year with Nick Caley as his offensive coordinator. There's also new coaches on the offensive side. Guys have left the building. I think for C.J. Stroud, it doesn't begin tonight. It already began. When they came back in April, they said he has been completely locked in. And I think the way your teammates see you, I want to see my quarterback at practice talking trash, cursing out guys on the defense, just loving being around ball again. I think that's the part that all of them want to see that brings that confidence.
So you're saying he's more locked in, and Troy's saying he's gained the mental edge. So if all these things are happening, he knows exactly all that's at stake this season. It's a huge year for C.J. Stroud.
But he can't play that way.
Point.
Like, he cannot play that way, because what you do, the best ones we've ever been around, the best ones we've ever played with, can compartmentalize Sunday to Sunday. They can take that for what it is in that 3 hours, and they can make their plays and do what they need to do, and understand that there will be some adversity in that. I think that's the part of the mental edge that he can gain. It's being able to put bad stuff behind him and continue to going forward. That stuff compounded on him last year in the playoffs.
The Higgins injury is significant. The return of Tank Dell equally significant. This is a guy that was achieving at a high and problematic for the defense level prior to his very gruesome injury. Happy to see him back out there. Speaking of defense, this Houston group, Swag, you're doing that thing you do. Take whatever camera that is. Give Swag, you got to give me Swag. Take Swag. He's doing the Swag thing. There we go.
Let me tell y'all something right now.
Is that the thing you do when you're looking at something that's like, what do we got right here?
Look, this one.
Help me understand that defense.
This when your eyes are bad, but they get better when somebody brings something up that you need to see clearly with. Right? They open my eyes. Ain't no cataracts with this defense. Right? You can see everything that's coming, and those opposing offenses too. They know what's coming as well. The continuity of this unit is the strength, but the individuals that make up this unit are some absolute monsters. First of all, I was looking at something the other day with a graphic. Danielle Hunter is over 120 sacks in his career.
In his career, correct.
Like, he's going to Danielle Hunter is going to be a Hall
defense. He sets the tone and tempo. You said it, Jalen Petrie, he is a guy that is a running missile, just trying to hit people. So I think the fear factor when they step on the field makes them a little bit different. The crazy thing to me is they added pieces to this defense from a year ago. They drafted Caden McDonald to be in the middle of that defense. They brought guys in that's going to make them that much better. So it obviously starts with D'Amico Ryans, but this is a defense that you have to be terrified for.
No doubt. Talked to a multiple Super Bowl champion and a good friend, Chris Long, a guy we all know and really like a lot, and he was down there in camp and said it is noticeable, just the demeanor of the group. It is an all-business bunch. They have that look that know who they are. They are a bunch of bad, their wallets are the brown wallets, okay? If you understand, you understand. They are a tough-minded bunch. They could be Super Bowl champions this year. For Vegas, it would just incremental steps forward. Mark Davis hoping that what they put it together foundationally, including the #1 pick who we expect to see tonight quite a bit, as Adam Schefter reported earlier in the day, can begin moving back towards what is one of the proud histories in the history of the National Football League.
I've been marked like, please, Lord, let this be it.
Talk Raiders in just a bit.
Nah, I'm not going.
Yes. Say yes. Why not? Sleep when you're my age. Legendary moments start with a light. It's Miller time.
Headache? You might be dehydrated. Gatorade with the clinically proven electrolyte.
Home inside and out.
Stop. This is Simply Safe.
Whoa!
That was impressive.
Get Simply Safe today with no long-term contracts or cancellation fees.
Some messes feel impossible to clean.
This is impossible.
But now, new Mr. Clean Magic Erasers make impossible possible. Just wet and squeeze to cut through 100% of dirt, grease, and grime. So this is
100% possible.
They're upgraded and last 2 times longer to cut through even more tough messes. And use the new shower and tub scrubber for a deep clean in half the time on shower glass and even bathtub soap scum. With Mr. Clean,
The possibilities are endless.
it's not just clean, it's Mr. Clean.
Gary, used car shopping can't hurt you.
But what if I overpay?
Come out and I'll show you a better way.
Well, you said...
I know. I said nearly half of all used cars have been in an accident, but there's no reason to shop with fear.
Well, show me, Carfox.
Knowing how a car's accident history impacts price means you don't have to overpay.
I wasn't scared.
Sure. Can we talk about the PJs?
I'll talk about them, as long as you keep it positive, because I like these things.
No fear, just Fox. Say show me at Carfax.com.
I don't know how Little Caesars brought the pizza deal back. 2 large pizzas for $4.99 each. My finely attuned brain just can't calculate how they did it.
Deal too big. Cannot compute. Yeah, it is a big deal.
Get 2 large pizzas for $4.99 each.
Pizza. What happened? Well, I don't know. Was it a fumble? Was it a pick? What? Are we punting? Are we going for it? Like, what are we doing? I don't know what's going on, guys. I got you Wagyu.
Watch with NFL Plus.
Don't get stuck without football.
Texans want to catch.
Get live, local, and primetime games on mobile with NFL Plus, and keep the NFL in reach.
Hey, where's the food? Want us to roll?
The Dog Stars. It's no surprise how fast civilization can disappear. We're the survivors. Living the American dream of the new world.
I heard a voice on the radio.
There's something out there.
Whatever broke this world left a trail. This could lead us to where it all began.
Yeah, I didn't go according to plan. Maybe it did, man. I don't know.
The Dog Stars in theaters and IMAX August 28th. Rated.
Check it out. I'm shopping for a car on AutoTrader.
Is that how you search?
Searching all this inventory from local dealers is now a simple conversation.
So I can really find an SUV with I'm a director energy.
Really? Wait, really? Find your next car on AutoTrader. Really?
My fantasy football punishment isn't just some silly outfit. I have to do this year's draft from an airplane. But I have an in-flight advantage. United Airlines has new Wi-Fi powered by Starlink, and it is a game changer. Connection so strong gate to gate, auto draft is an afterthought, and it's free for Mileage Plus members, which means I'll be cruising through my draft while cruising at 35,000 feet. The best part? You can watch me do it live on the Fantasy Football Marathon, thanks to United.
Another busy offseason. Pete Carroll fired the day after the season came to an end. Clint Kubiak hired the day after winning the Super Bowl as a Seattle offensive coordinator. 5-year deal that was warmly greeted in the desert. 6 coaches in 6 years when you include the interim Rich Bisaccia, who's the only one that has a winning record. In March, they agreed to trade superstar pass rusher Max Crosby to the Ravens for multiple first-round picks. Emotional goodbye until it wasn't. Baltimore backed out after he failed the physical with the team the following week. 37-year-old Kirk Cousins waived retirement, signed in early April. Reunion with Kubiak from Minnesota days. 3 weeks later, Mendoza, fresh off a title and a Heisman with Indiana, became the #1 selection.
The future is now.
With the first pick, the Las Vegas Raiders select Fernando Mendoza.
College was fantastic. I'm so blessed to have that career.
You guys know if your man's cooked. Yeah. You also know if a guy's got it. When it's a young guy, what is it you're looking for? Not tonight even necessarily, but when it's just you guys at practice, what are you looking for someone to show you that lets you know, okay, all right, we got something here?
Toughness is something that resonates with defensive guys. And I think a lot of watching him in Indiana, the willingness to put his body on the line, that resonates with us. But more importantly, like when that dude walks in the huddle, and I want to remind everybody, I was the #1 tight end in the country coming out of high school.
No big deal.
So I played with quarterbacks. I understand it. But it's the command, and it's what he said in that clip is that it's earned, not given. And I think he truly carries that mentality to a football team that's looking for somebody to lead them into what's next for the Las Vegas Raiders. I think look, when I first saw him, I said, man, this dude quirky. Is this going to resonate in an NFL locker room? You got a bunch of dudes with kids and families and the way he speaks and all of that. But it's authentic and it's him.
Authentic.
And I think people relate to that.
Authentic, him, relatable. Let me tell you a story. The Raiders have a different person break up the huddle, break up the team. What do they call that at the end of each day?
Yeah.
So just the other day, they called up Fernando Mendoza for the first time. And he went up there and spewed out a bunch of profanities. And the team went nuts. And they were going crazy. And they loved that he did that. And apparently it was one of the funniest and most captivating moments at training camp when he broke down the team and gave this let's go, all the curses.
That's the moment you're talking about.
So youngsters, just drop some F-bombs tonight at dinner and let your mom and dad know what time it is. But I mean, look, he was inventing curse words with the media, literally inventing them. You're like, what did he just say? So there's a lot of things that resonate. I was at that game on the field in Miami. He got bloodied, and Miami came after him early. They wanted to find out if he was tough. Yep. He showed he was tough. Man. He also showed he could drop some F-bombs. Yep. What's the tape show you in the small sample size that we've seen?
You got to like what you saw from game one, preseason game one from Mendoza. His ability to do things that he didn't do in college. That's what I was impressed by. Quarterback under center, going play action and doing some things. But watch when they go in motion. You're seeing the safety switch. So it's a single high safety, then one drops down and they rotate. So now Mendoza has a picture, but he turns his back and the safeties give him a completely different picture. So now once he gets his head around, you have to diagnose it and then get the ball out and fit it into a tight window right now. He hits his back foot, lets the ball go, layers it in between 3 different guys. Something we didn't see him do at Indiana, but he's showing us right away that he can do it. Then you ask yourself, all right, What do you want to see him work on? This is a 3rd and 4 situation. You want to get the ball out, pick up the first down. You pause it right here. Nobody's open. Quarterback can't do anything about that. You love that he's able to use his athleticism and get out of the pocket. Can he find someone? Guy falls down. I'm okay with him not taking this risk. The next step, though, throw the football away. We don't want our franchise quarterback, first overall pick, taking hits like this for no reason. Yeah. These are the ones we want to see him get the ball away and live to see another down. But in that game, under center more times in one preseason game than he was his entire career at Indiana.
The saga that surrounded the defensive lineman, Max Crosby, and I think saga is the only thing you can call it. I mean, when you're talking about an organization that doesn't trade ones, Baltimore, saying we're going to give a couple for a guy to help us with the pass rush because their pass rush was miserable, and then it all falls apart with him.
Spot, and there's some team out there that is making a run that knows it's a defensive player away. Would there be a team at that point in time that takes a run at Max Crosby when we know the Raiders already have been open to the idea of moving on from him? That's where I think a scenario could come into play. Do I think he's getting traded before the season? I don't. I think the Raiders are going to try to win football games. I think they think they're better. I think they think Max Crosby can be a part of this. But could that change as we get closer to the trade deadline? Let's see how the season unfolds.
Well, look, they brought in a new guy in Kubiak whose play calling is well regarded to get a #1 pick in Mendoza, and we'll see when he gets out there on the field. But they spent some money, fellas, this offseason. They shored up the offensive line. You put the center from Baltimore, Linderbaum, in the middle, and he's one of the highest regarded centers in the game. But on the defensive side, fellas, they've
in the last 2 seasons. You want a guy like Crosby in the building of showing those guys the work ethic, the mentality, and the leadership of what it takes to be successful in this league. So I'm not going to sit here and say this defense is one that's going to be top 10 in the NFL
but they don't
this
have
year.
to be.
Yes, but they have the right building blocks to continue to get better. As Mendoza gets better, the defense will be coming along with them.
So
I think, look, here's the deal with defense, okay? You name some guys that have played in high-level football.
Meaningful,
Quay, N'Kobe. I think this is all encompassing though, right? Like you even think about Tom Brady being a part of this organization. You think about, I looked at when they announced Clint Kubiak and Charles Woodson is there, Howie is there. Like there needs to be a revival in Las Vegas. There needs to be some type of culture that's set new. So you got a young first overall drafted quarterback. You got a defensive veteran that has played at a high level. When your defense has been abysmal, he's been the bright spot. And you bring in dudes that don't know anything about the Raiders culture. They just have played really good football. And I think that's where you take your first step as a defense. Could you surprise yourself? Could these guys